What's up, you guys? Roger and Nor back again for another video. We have a really good story to start off today's show. And Norv, I'll let you take it away.
What's happening, guys? So crazy thing I heard from one of the agents I work with about a in-house listing that they had, a pocket listing, right? And so they listed the house on the market in a very desirable area. Normally, this thing in the last couple of years would have had a bunch of offers on it, 15, 20 offers.
As you guys know, everything's going, depending on where you are, 50,000 over, 100,000, sometimes 200,000-300,000 over asking. Like, this has been very normal in this market over the past couple of years.
Yep, definitely been the norm. And everyone's been used to that. Buyers have been used to that. Agents have been used to that. Just go in as aggressively as possible. And so in this situation, this just happened in the last 2 weeks. They listed the property. A few days passed by. This is one of those properties in one of those areas that had that 200 at least thousand over. Would have had a couple offers over 200 off the bat. Within a couple of days. And so in this situation, they went a few days, no offers, didn't open a house and did not get any offers. Normally that wouldn't have not worked out that way, right? In the past. And so a couple of days after the open house, a couple of days later, they get one and it's just at asking. And so the
one offer agent, after 10 days.
One, yes.
And an open house.
Yes. And so the listing agent at this point was concerned and worried about, what he was going to do to satisfy his sellers and, sort of the property. And he started sort of questioning the price point, all that stuff. And then, so like a day or two later, they get one offer just at asking. And after that, so he's sort of freaking out, thought he was going to get a lot more. Couple of days later, he has 3 days to respond. So he sort of plays that out. Luckily gets a phone call from an agent with a buyer that's really interested and in love with the property. And so this agent ends up, without really much hesitation, putting an offer for 250,000 over asking on a property that just had one offer at asking. And so the agent got really lucky, and he said that, he just didn't know where it came from. It just so happened to come in just that aggressively. Obviously, they had a conversation, said, we do have an offer, and, if you want to just be aggressive. It came in 250,000 over asking. And so it's pretty crazy, man.
So guys, the moral of this, if you guys watched our last video, we talked about how rates going up are actually a good thing for buyers, because if you're a buyer, if you've been a buyer the last 2 years, you're competing against 20 other offers. Norv and I put in an offer. We're trying to buy an investment in Scottsdale. There was 27 offers, right? This is like a month ago. So rates have gone up. If you watched our last video, we talked about how rates have gone up. This is a good thing for buyers. And as you see, an area, which is very hot, where going 100 or 200,000 over asking was very normal. All of a sudden, in the last week or two, they only got one offer in 10 days. And because that second agent came in, used to the market being what it was a month to the past year, went bananas and offered 250 when he probably could have offered 50,000 over and probably would have got that house, or maybe even at asking with better terms could have got that house. So guys, this means the tide might slowly be shifting from like a crazy seller's market to more balanced.
Exactly my thoughts. It's balancing it out. And that might take a month or two for it to start to reflect, and for everyone to adjust. But I think that as an agent these days, you have to be mindful of rates and the purchasing power that the purchasing power that's been taken away with the higher rates. And so that's definitely going to have some sort of an impact on the tide shifting to be more favorable for buyers.
And Nor broke down the numbers based on rates going up. So he's going to give you guys a scenario. Like, you have a buyer who makes X amount of dollars, can afford X amount mortgage, like let's say a year ago when rates were really low. And we're going to compare that to what that same person can afford now in the same scenario, but with just higher rates. So Norv, go ahead.
That's right. That's right. So I went as low as 3.25. I know rates were a little bit lower. We were in the twos on the average 30-year fix, but I went a little conservative. Otherwise, like those numbers would have been a lot higher. But so even with these numbers at 3.25, assuming you got a mortgage, you bought a house for, you had a loan amount of $1 million with the 3.25 interest rate last year. Your principal and interest payment on that $1 million loan would have been $4,350. Now, fast forward to today, that same $1 million loan amount at 1.5% roughly higher, with 4.875 being the rate. That's the average rate today. 4.875 with perfect credit. $1 million principal and interest goes up from $4,352 to $5,292, almost $1,000. $940 exactly. What does that translate to? $940 is approximately $215,000 in financing. So that same buyer with 3.25 rate last year would have been able for 1,215 with today's prices, right? Or you want that same payment from last year, your loan amount from $1 million goes to $785,000.
Yeah,
and the same payment.
Just to make it real simple, okay. So if you are working at a company, you're W-2, 1 year ago, you can qualify for $1 million loan. Today, you can only qualify for $785. You basically dropped what you qualify for by $215,000 by rates going up. So what that's done and how that correlates to the story we just told is a lot of these buyers who could, let's say there's buyers that could qualify a year ago at 600,000. Now they qualify for 400,000. There's no homes at that rate. So what are you doing? You're wiping out buyers from competition, right? So now when there's 20 offers, we might be getting into a market where there's 3 offers, 4 offers, 5 offers, and you're going to have a much better chance of getting your offer accepted if you're a homeowner. And don't let the higher rate scare you, because real estate is a long-term investment. Your plan should be to hold your real estate for 10, 20, 30 years. And if you look at, just go on Zillow, pick a house in your neighborhood, go back 10, 20, 30 years, you'll see that it's always going up. Suck it up with the higher rate, and then you'll have an opportunity to refinance down the road at some point.
That's it, Roger. I think you nailed it, because the way I look at it is you're better off getting a good deal on a property with a higher rate than you are overpaying for a property with the lower rate. Because the lower rate, we know for a fact, even though our clients get into a 30-year fix, almost no one keeps a 30-year mortgage. They're always cashing out. When property prices, like you said, go up historically, you're always taking equity out. You're potentially,
rate and term refinance. You just lower the rate.
All sorts of things. Yeah. And so, if you do that, then your premium you paid on the house by doing a refi gets wiped out. Your rate goes up, so that principal and interest payment goes away. But if you get a good deal, and if the tide shifts a little bit to the buyer side, and you get a good deal on a property with a higher rate, it's not as bad, because you can always lower the rate and lower that payment, and you also got a good deal. So there are going to be opportunities. We're talking about 30 years from now, right? Every single mortgage from today on, 30 years, fast forward 30 years. Look at how many opportunities we've had in the last 30 years to refinance. And that's probably as many as you'll have in the next 30 years, right? These things happen, and these ups and downs will happen. 30 years is a long time for you to say, this is my payment. And so I think that even with 5% rates or 4.875 or even higher rates, today, you should focus on the real estate side of the aspect of the investment, and stick with that.
Yeah, don't let 5%, 5.5%, 6% scare you, because real estate is, again, it's a long-term investment. This should give you guys a lot of hope for all the buyers who've been competing, who make good money, can afford a mortgage, have a down payment, have a good credit score, and have had trouble. Things are slowly going to turn in your favor. You're going to have hope. You're going to be able to land a house. And just keep in mind, you can refinance down the road once the rates drop, which they will. Once inflation gets under control, rates are not going to stay at 6%. wherever they're headed, they're not going to stay there forever. So you guys heard it here first. This is the tide might be shifting. Every market is different. Every neighborhood is different. So keep that in mind. Like, we're not taking this one story and blanketing it across California, Arizona, or the country. But just keep in mind, with these rates going up, it's going to knock a lot of people into lower tiers of what they can afford, or just completely wipe them off the opportunity of buying. So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good to balance things out in the market.
Absolutely. It's a natural, it's just naturally how it's going to pan out. I think no matter how you slice it up, it's definitely going to lower the number of offers and give people more opportunities. And it still probably makes sense with rents where they are for a lot of people. You know, if I was not a homeowner, I would still be in the market. And I think I would probably favor this more, you know, in this environment more than where we were a couple months ago with lower rates. But there's still options. You can still go interest only. You can still do other types of loans that, you know, an adjustable possibly to get a lower rate if that's where you're really, you know, after you don't want to rate it in the high 4s or the 5s. There are other options to lower that monthly payment. But, you know, this is definitely a lot more favorable because you won't pay that premium. You know, 200,000 over asking. And, you know, like you said, this is probably not across the board, but it's starting to, and the trickle down effect might take a couple of months or two before the impact, we start to see these offers really decline.
So,
but I'd still be a buyer.
Yeah, definitely. So give it a month or two to let people soak in these higher rates, and for the market to adjust, because it's an adjustment period. And I know we haven't really even plugged ourselves, but if you guys are in California, need a home loan, Norv, reach out to Norv on Instagram, Norv Home Loans, Roger, mortgage expert. So if you're looking to buy, refinance in California or Arizona, reach out to us. Norv specializes in the Glendale, Burbank area, La Cañada. You know, that's where his bread and butter is. I'm in Gilbert, Arizona. But, you know, we could do loans all across the state in California and Arizona. So, yeah, hit us up if you need to looking to buy a house. And anything else you want to add before we look at a couple more numbers on the inventory?
No, I think we kind of, nailed that part of it.
Okay, cool. So let's just really quickly dive into just look at again, this inventory is based on last month, right? It's like March and February compared to past years. And again, moving forward with rates going up, everything might change, but take it with a grain of salt. But this is kind of where we're at right now. All right, here we go. Let me know, Norv, if you can see my screen.
I can.
You see the chart? Okay, cool. So this is Los Angeles County mid-March listing inventory level for the past about 10 years. We are at a crazy historical low. We're at 5,400 homes for sale in LA County. LA County is pretty big. I mean, you're going from the beach, right? Malibu to like Roland Heights. That's how far inland you're going. It's a big area. To only have 5,400 homes for sale is really, really low. I mean, you could obviously see it here. Last year, 7,300. Even March during the pandemic, there was 8,600 homes, over 3,000 more homes for sale. 2019 probably was ideal time to buy because you had more than double the amount of inventory we have today. So again, inventory is very, very, very low. So we need homes to be built. We need more homes to come on the market. At the same time, it's two things, right? So inventory is low, but competition was really high, a lot of buyers. Now that's going to drop based on the rates, based on the story we just heard. We should have less buyers and less competition, a little bit more of an equilibrium. And again, don't let this scare you too much, because if you're going from competing against 20 people down to 5, you're still going to have a much better chance of landing your home. So just something here. We can also look at kind of a little bit of average home prices in different cities. So this is price range report. So sold report. Okay, cool. Homes, units sold in February and the average sale price. Let's just look at a couple. What areas would you want to see, Norv? I know you're in Burbank. Average price is $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Average list price is $995. So their average is going 80,000 over. 50 units sold in February of 2022. It's actually kind of on the high side as far as number of homes sold compared to these other cities.
I know. So for Canyon Country, that makes sense. Diamond Bar, but 50, that's pretty good. 50 in the month of February and 106% to list.
Guys, look at this.
Wow.
Average list price in Beverly Hills was 4.2. Average sale price 4.22, 4.207. So Beverly Hills is going a little bit under asking, a little bit under list price. Kind of interesting there.
Interesting.
Where else? I grew up in Chatsworth a lot of my life. So average list price 691, lived there for quite some time, and average sale price 748, 28 units sold. Compton going a little bit over. Let's see. Alhambra's going 10% over. What's up, North?
Glendale.
All right, let's go to Glendale. East LA, by the way. Shout out to East LA.
On the
East LA going 15% over.
100.
One home sold? Is this real? Holy
that has to be a
shit.
Mistake.
Is that a mistake?
I know it's tight out there, but I don't know about that tight. One home.
Damn. Okay.
No.
Sorry, Nord. You said Glendale.
Yes, Glendale.
Glendale. All right.
It's 59
That's
homes.
Pretty high. Look, 10% over. 950 selling for $1,025,000, 75,000 over list, and 59 units sold.
So yeah, look at that. It's almost 75,000 over asking on average. On average, that means there's all sorts of those 200s. I saw them a lot in Glendale. 200, 250, 300 over asking, and just in this is for February, so that 10% is still being reflected. We'll see what March's report for March when we get that next month. But I think those numbers are going to get tighter a little bit.
And a lot of sales. That's a lot of sales. If that slows down, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It'll take time to kind of digest these numbers and see what this actually means. If there's a lot of homes sold versus a little, like East LA, one home sold. That's crazy. Hollywood going a little bit over asking, 899, 100,000 over asking, almost 23 units sold.
Oh wow.
Hollywood Hills East and West. Wow, going a little bit. Hollywood Hills West going a little bit under asking.
Under, just about, yeah.
So
interesting.
Well, see, what happens is when the market gets so hot, people list their, I want this. This is the number I want, right? And you kind of overshoot. And then now with the rates going up, I think this is gonna. Guys, stay tuned. We'll do this report again next month and see, with a full month of higher rates, if homes are going over asking or under. Because some of these homes are already going under asking, like Hidden Hills. Look at this. I mean, there's only one home sold, but it went for under the list price. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Malibu is another one. They're shooting really high. Only 50,000 over asking. Los Angeles, 31,000 over asking. 749 homes sold. Anything else?
It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how agents and listing agents specifically kind of start pricing their homes now. It's been pretty crazy. Like you said, everyone wants their pricing. You put you put what you want to get out of it. Also expecting that you're going to get a nice offer above asking, and so there's going to be a little bit of a tightening there where, do you lower the asking, the listing price to bring in the influx of buyers to still have that competition, or do you stay greedy and go up above the top, like above where you really should be, and then sit on the market for a little bit longer and have to negotiate down? So we're, I think, at that inflection point. Where that's going to come into play, and I think agents are going to have to be cautious with how they make their approach. I don't think you want, as an agent, if I was a real estate agent, I would not be super aggressive. I would stay aggressive in terms.
Yeah, but you don't want to overprice or listed at a crazy number. Yeah.
And so buyer side, seller side, I mean, there's obviously going to be a little bit of a change in psyche with what we're used to seeing in the market to what we're about to really see, in the next probably couple of weeks to a month, when this rate change starts to really impact it. It's not going anywhere, right? Rates are not going anywhere, but higher.
No, they're only going higher.
So,
and one more, let's just give a shout out to South Pasadena. Only 11 sales, but look at this, 350,000 over the average list price. So if you bought in South Pasadena 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, you're licking your chops right now. You're looking good. You've gained a lot of equity.
Yeah.
If you bought in South Pass in the last year or so.
And so what's this part? All of LA? Oh, I see.
So this is all of LA. This is breaking down by price range.
Got it.
Yeah. So so
the hottest price, 500 to 750 is the most.
There's a lot of hot price points. I mean, even up to 2 million, this is LA, right? So you got a lot of people with money who are competing for those even 1.5, $2 million homes. There's a lot of competition because there's a lot of people with money.
Yeah, that 1 to 1.25 million, or from 1 to 1.5, or 1 to 1.5. Yeah, 1 to 1.5 is pretty much where it's the stiffest, I would say, in competition, where a lot of people fall into. But I think, Roger, I don't know. I think we just had the loan limit raised not too long ago, right, to 970. But we'll see what they do with them when it comes to like the end of the year into next year. And we're gonna need a little bit of help, even if rates go up. I think we're in the jumbo territory now. Unless you have a big down payment where your DTI is low enough where we could combine your first and do a 970 first and combine it with a second on the purchase. A lot of people are already been pushed out in most of these areas with getting a conventional loan. So we're going to need a little bit of help. I don't know if rates are going to push down prices. Really, it's going to just
level off. I think it'll be last couple of years we've seen 10-20% value increases. I think it'll slow down. It'll be 5%, 8%, 4%, which is more normal, which again, it's going to be good. We need to balance this.
We need it. Yeah, we definitely need that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Follow Norv Home Loans on Instagram, Roger Mortgage Expert. Like and subscribe. Follow us for more real estate and mortgage news. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Later,
Roger.